Hi everyone, welcome back to this episode today. I think we can call them episode because it looks like a never-ending story about these small earpods or earphones. Right, so what we are going to do today is to try and finish it all so that we can start rendering it. And I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you to everyone that commented to my channel and for your questions and for the engagement overall. Thank you very much. It's very nice to see all this. Please continue, ask questions, ask things that you are interested to see or that you are interested about. It is a pleasure for me to discuss about this topic in general. And if you didn't know, sorry, if you don't know what or how we arrived to where we are today, just don't forget, go and watch my previous videos about how to build this. Right, and that being said, let's see what do we need to do today. So we need to do the cuts and a few more other details around here. I can see this thing in here. It's looking like a kind of a hole. We can use a sphere for that. So we do the cuts and we have to do the thing that we have in here, the thing that is going into the ear, isn't it? And I did think about this thing that is going into the ear for some time, how to make it and how to make everything. And I have my earphones here next to me, not these ones because these are done by an artificial intelligence. Um, but I have some Adidas earphones, which are not so far from what I see on the screen as a concept or in principle. And yeah, I think what's weird about this is the fact that I'm having this on the side, and this thing is not very logical to have it like this on the side, maybe from this on the top of it or on the bottom. But actually, I'm thinking now, you know what? Let's respect what the original sketch is, and let's do something weird, but using some of the details that I have from my earphones just to, to have some sense when we do everything. So let's continue doing this, and I think we have about 1 hour, maybe 1 hour and a half, depending on how late it is. And yeah, we should arrive to the end of it. Before doing the cuts, I will make the thing that we have in here, which is clearly visible that it is at an angle. So let's get to our model in here, and let me switch to see some lines, and from this shininess thing, I will spare you about adding fillets after I'm building the model. So we are going to dive right into it and try to arrive to its final shape without some fillets, which from my previous movies, from my previous videos, you should be able to see them, to see very well what are they. I'm just looking here and I can see this is already uh, I'm not sure if I really like how that fillet goes in there all around. Hmm. Anyway, I don't think it looks weird when I look at this outside of the part. No, it's just the lines that we're looking at. Right, so we have this thing that goes into the ear that should be at an angle from the main part. So again, let's see the lines from the main part, which is this one in here. So if we open this one up into a different view, and I do want to do this before I'm making the cuts, because if I'm doing the cuts, then it will become way harder to do it. Yeah. So we have it at an angle. We don't know what's happening there behind, but it's somewhere towards the top. somewhere in this area. Right, so for that, how can we do it? Let's see what kind of sketches. Do we have any sketches in here? No, we don't. Um, we could do it normal to the surface, but I don't want that. So you know what? Let's unhide these three planes. I did unhide them. Okay. And yeah, let's introduce a point on this line in here. Somewhere, where do I want? I can see 2% in there. I don't know, 33%, yeah, something like that. Okay, so we have a point in there. Let's introduce a plane onto the line, into the point. Good. So now we have a plane which would sit perpendicular to the line, and we can use the set plane to build a line which would be our axis, yeah. So somewhere in here along that axis, and yeah, let me hide the planes, these ones. So somewhere in here along that axis we should have our thing that is pointing out from the earphones. It's pointing out quite straight, so I don't think we are far away from this. So we can use the axis to create a circle and to create those stuff. I'm not going to create something silly like this, like the big thing. This is not going to enter in any year. But I'm going to create a cylinder that can be combined afterwards with the main shape. So another plane somewhere in here. I do want it perpendicular to the line. Set origin on curve. And okay, fine. I'm going to choose this point in here so we don't lose any time. All right, sketch in here. We have the origin in the point, so we shouldn't have a problem. Let's make a cylinder circle. I do want to add a diameter to it. So let's see how much of a diameter can be. So I'm getting my measurement tape in here and just looking at my earphones. So just to make sure that those kind of dimensions are making sense really. So I would say 7 millimeters should be just fine. So let's say 6 instead of 5 or 7, somewhere in between. Okay, now we can extrude this in the other direction to be sure that it is intersecting our object in here. And okay, so it's not intersecting it fully. Well, I can always modify this line in here so that we arrive to intersect it fully. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. I would say that's kind of it. There is one thing that I do want to modify. I want to modify from, not from sketch plane, as an offset, because I don't want it fully from there. So I want it as an offset from, I don't know, maybe 2 millimeters, not 2.8, 2 millimeters. Yeah, my bad. So again, I do 132, but I want to start from an offset of 2 millimeters, let's say. Okay, maybe 5. Ah, okay, so he's getting the other direction instead. Can I set up an offset with minus then? No, I cannot. Okay, so then fine. We put it like that and less than that. Okay, offset of 7 maybe. It's even that is too big. Oh, I could actually modify the sketch in here rather than fiddling with this. But well, right now I started with this. I will just continue. Let's look again at the model. So whatever, something like that. Okay, I need more, about 12. And I want to go only up to here. And now I do want to have it tapered outward about 3 degrees because I could see that is tapered. Okay, and now let's modify the position of this curve to make sure that we intersect properly the surfaces. All right, so that's looking more like how it looks in there. Okay, good. Now, being already like this, we can see a good case for which we can use the surface filleting surfaces directly. Because if we use surfaces directly, we can move these surfaces around a bit more freely than if we would use edge filleting. And we need that because we will need to adjust a little bit things afterwards. Okay, so we want something like this, but not that drastic. So I would say something like 5 millimeters maybe, to have it like a merging thing in there. Let's see. I do want it in curvature continuous. To be curvature continuous, 3 millimeters as a fillet, I think is just enough. Is just fine. I will just apply the fillets as they are. I'm not going to try to adjust any more of that. It's just it just needs to continue from that surface like that. It is looking a bit different. It is looking like we would have a smaller fillet. So let's try with a smaller one. Maybe at 1 millimeters would be like this. Just trying to get closer to what we have in that sketch. Yeah, it's just that I don't like the fact that this in here is not quite is so sharp. I don't like that. So maybe if I am moving the sketch maybe a little bit down so we don't see that much what is happening in there. Yeah, I think I'm going back to 3 millimeters. I think I like it a lot more as a transition. Look, we could play quite a lot with these transitions, but I'm quite alright for them to be directly like that. Alright, changing to something that is darker. I had someone on my channel asking me where it is. Glad that you figured it out, how to arrive to have all this black environment with reflections thing. Okay, Okay. Right. So we could continue in here and maybe we could apply a variable fillet so that in here we have far bigger transition. But if I'm going towards 4 millimeters as a fillet, yeah, it's not going to work anymore. So let's see, how about 3.5? Yeah, I'm happy with 3.5. Okay, cool. So let's imagine. So introduce this in ears at an angle. And in here we should have the rubbery thing, isn't it? That is going to get into the ear, which is, you know, more or less like this kind of thing in here. It's just that it doesn't have all these little details around. Yeah. So if we get back to the planes that we had before, so we have this plane in here, and we should have this plane in here that should be visible. Ah, it is visible, it's just bigger and that's why I couldn't see it. Okay. And in here we should be able to build a profile so that we use something similar to revolve. So let's say again, just looking at my earphones to see how I have them in here. Right, so I'm having some sort of a curve like this. Yeah. And then it is something similar to that. Yeah. And then it goes somewhere, has an edge similar to that, and then it goes inside and yeah, is a profile similar to that. And of course we have some constraints that SolidWorks is adding automatically. I'm putting all this at an angle to be sure that I can actually see things through at some point in time. Yeah, and I'm making this like that because I do want to have a hole. Okay. And now if we think about the original sketch, it should be round, or at least to aim to have something more round. So I think I'm fine with that. So I would have a profile like this, yeah. And if I'm not sure, do we have a revolve in here? Something similar to revolve. Ah, we have. That's good. So revolve, axis of revolution should be this, yeah. And that's kind of it. I mean, 360 degrees. That's it. Now what I don't like is that is a bit too short. So if I can adjust it in such a way so that is less short, let's see, something like that, and to look a bit more like in the sketch. Yeah, so something like this. I don't think there is any that would be a little bit too much. Yeah, that's kind of it. So now if I but this one should actually be a different part, isn't it? So I've built it right inside the part. Yeah, that's okay. We can always, we will have to, for rendering, we will have to make an assembly of parts anyway. So maybe I can break the links and put it into another part. Mm, we will see. Anyway, not a problem even if it is in here. We can always use whatever we have in here. Let's just make the fillets around. So in here I will want to have one, if not inch, please. I need to find a solution for SolidWorks to get the dimensions directly in millimeters. Right, for some reasons, one edge worked and the other one didn't. Okay, let's delete this one. Let's make it 1 millimeter and continue with the other fillet at less maybe. So multi-radius fillet, not 1.5 millimeters. Okay, for some it doesn't like something, 0.3 maybe. Ah, okay. Multi-radius fillet didn't work, but okay, fine. So let's try 0.5. By the way, let me check. Yeah. Okay. So that would be at 0.5 millimeters. And that would be how they would attach to the ear, right? And now we should do the cuts. Or shall we experiment just a little bit more with the shape of this area that goes into the ear? Right, so it could be something like that. You know what? No, I don't want to make it that long. But what I do want to make would be to get inside of the sketch and add an edge just to kind of show like he's having some sort of a thickness, right? There. So that you don't see it like completely empty. And now since we added that, maybe we should just go like this. There you go. Yeah. Okay, good. Let's do a fillet on both sides. Of course, 0.1 this time, or 0.2. And now it's all right. Okay. Now let's do the cuts. Let's see. Before cuts, we need to cut with this sphere, with a sphere in here. So we have something like that. For that to happen, I will need in a point, and we need to put a point on the surface somewhere, and let's see, just create a sphere. Hopefully it will just work to just create the sphere. Can I adjust the point onto the surface instead of being in the middle? Interesting. So I can, yeah, I cannot adjust where on the surface. Maybe on point? No, it's not going to work. Okay, so for that then, so I don't like the fact that I cannot put the point and adjust it to be wherever I want. Yeah, so I will go into a 3D sketch, create a spline on surface. I don't know, somewhere between here and there. Get out of here and now insert a point onto that line. Okay. Why I cannot see the line then? Ah, because I had everything hidden. Okay. So let's put the point somewhere. Can I select one? No, okay. SolidWorks. Come on. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so in that point, let's see. Can I just create a sphere? Do I have like a... So I have extrude, revolve, all that kind of stuff. Okay, surfaces. Interesting. Point bounding box, whatever. Okay, so interesting thing compared to, for example, Katya. In Katya, you could construct just a sphere in a point. It looks like in SolidWorks, you cannot just have a sphere into a point. You cannot order that. It's off the menu. Okay, so it looks like we will have to create our kind of a sphere, instead of a sphere, to create a curve into a plane somewhere in there in that point. And then use that to either create the sphere, either create whatever, a curve that can be used. So let's try this, because now I'm puzzled. If I'm going in here and I'm going to create a circle of whatever dimensions it has, and I will cut that circle with an axis. So let's say, yeah, I will use, no, I don't want to cut. No, actually, yes, it needs to be cut, isn't it? Yeah, so if I am using these points in here to create a line, make it for construction, and then power trim closest, let's see, trim closest, and then trim it and get out of it and make a loft of this. Would it, yeah, I can make a loft and then I can just mirror it on the other side and achieve our sphere. That's so weird. You cannot have a sphere directly. Okay, never mind. I'm sure we can survive. So let's make a swept surface using this, and not swept, revolve using this, and as an axis. Oh, there you go. It has identified it with its own axis and is going to create the sphere for us. Interesting. Okay. To be seen if I should leave it full circle, if it will still recognize it. Don't know. Anyway, so I do want to have a different diameter for this lovely sphere. Okay. And now what I would want to have would be an intersect. Trim, not intersect. Not Katya. Still SolidWorks. Mutual, and remove this part. Ah, that part and the other part is it. Yeah, so remove that one and this one, and it should be just fine. There. Now let's compare with the original sketch. Okay, so it's slightly lower, isn't it? Yeah. So it is slightly lower, and I think it is even smaller. Yeah, and it is smaller. So first, let's make it smaller. And second, can I just drag this point? No, I cannot. So I have to go modify the parameters of this, and let's say 75%. Nope, 25% then. Nope, 33 maybe. Let's try. Yeah, I think is more or less in the right place. It's just this curve is not necessarily in the right place. So I'm going to move the curve so that the point is moving along the curve. And I would say maybe 45% for the point. Yeah, it's looking more or less all right, isn't it? Except it should be in a different direction. It shouldn't be a circle. It should be an oval kind of thing. But can we do that easily so that we get closer without consuming a lot of time? Let's see. So I should be able to modify these in direct editing, like a scale kind of thing. So I have a split in there. Just checking the time. So half an hour already. We need to hurry up a little bit. Oh, interesting. Mesh modeling. Somewhere it should be a scale. Yes, there you go. So we have a scale. Do I want uniform scaling? No, I don't. Let's see. Can I see the scale? How it's going to look like a preview or anything like that? Nope. Okay, so scale about origin. Okay, so maybe as a core, no, not coordinate. Let's try origin and let's try x by 3. Okay, so that's x. Okay, let's try to identify which one is which in this way. So we need it not in x, we will need definitely in z at 1.5. Okay, so that's z. Okay, so that means we need it in y-axis at 1.5. Something like that, but it should be from the origin, isn't it? Let's try centroid. Yeah, so centroid works all right. Interesting. Origin, not good, but centroid, good. Anyway, we don't need that much. We need 1.2 mainly. Something like that. 1.2. How does it look like? Yeah, I'm okay. 1.2. It's looking less of a sphere. That's what I wanted. I wanted less of a sphere, maybe 1.3, even better. Now that I can see it as a cut. So 1.3 in there. And 1.2 in X to cut slightly deeper. Yeah, I think I'm all right with that. So something like that. Now let's make the fillet onto it. 0.2, 0.5. How is it on the sketch? Quite sharp. Okay. So for the fillets being so small, I can apply a thickness afterwards and then make the fillets, just like I will do into this part in here. Okay, so that would be it before doing some cuts into it. Yeah, it's looking quite all right. Now let me save first. Save to this PC. Okay. And let's do the cuts. So we have one cut in here and one cut in there. So one is completely vertical. I think we can make it using a plane just like that and make it completely vertical. Yeah, we can use the same plane for both of them. Yeah, indeed. And just in case you are here and you don't know how we did arrive to this, please go and watch my previous videos in which you can see very well how we arrived at this kind of shapes. And you know, just so you know, in case you are interested into one-to-one or group coaching for CAD design and rendering, yeah, please drop me a message or to my email that you see in here or in my description for my channel or even in messages, and we'll be more than happy to start working together and see how we can elevate those skills. Okay, so let's go back and let's see. Yeah, so one vertical. So that means we could use the right plane to make a sketch. Now that we've built the missing bit in here. So how is it going? Okay, so it looks like it's going straight. So maybe I will combine it with a different sketch. But let's try first just going straight. After it's just a cut. Oh, and before that, actually, discard. We should go and do these cuts into our folder that is made specifically for doing cuts. Just so that it will be easier to manage, just in case I don't want to make those cuts straight from a right plane. Yeah, so let's see, we were having a curve around this circle. Where is that curve? Yeah, it's following somewhere around here. Let's build exactly that. Yeah, I will just use a curve. A curve that goes something like that, and we can just continue the profile up to the bottom. Okay, let's see, and then we should have another curve to blend it in together. I still don't like the fact that it would be completely straight, so I'm building it up to here only, or up to where we see that it should be blended in. Yeah, and then I'm going to extrude this, something like that, and then from the top I do want to construct from somewhere in the top a different curve. I'm thinking maybe I should construct it straight to the surface itself. but then I need to extrude from there. Yeah, let's do it straight on the surface. I think it will be faster. So spline on surface. Let's look again onto this thing. Okay. So I don't know, from somewhere from here up to, it is curved. That's why I'm looking up to here. Right, I would have the other cut. Okay, so I will pass that edge over there. Just thinking, yeah, something like this should be just fine. Now I do want to extrude this against which plane? Against top. Yeah, and I'm okay to start from there. I will want to extend this, however. Maybe something like that. Yeah, I can adjust it afterwards. Yep. And now just create a boundary surface between the two, between the edges. Can I select all of them? No. Right. Then let's do it slightly different. Let's convert the edges in here first. So that Solidworks will recognize as one edge instead of two. Okay. Yep. So he identified that is one edge. Yeah, and as long as it goes like continuously in here, I'm happy with it. The only thing that I will want is this extrude in here. I don't want, I want again to start from an offset. And as an offset, I would say 1 millimeter. It got the wrong direction as an offset. Seriously, is it going to get that offset? Yes. Okay, amazing. Right. So no, I don't want an offset then. So from sketch plane, and to loosen up a little bit things in here, because they do look quite tight, I would go into this sketch and I would say make an offset on the surface. Of 1 millimeter. Okay. Fine. Let's make another offset of this one in here of 1 millimeter. Just checking to see if they don't touch each other. They don't, as expected. So I'm going to delete one of the constraints that I have in there and make this one coincident with the other point. Ah, yes, and we need to make this for construction. There. And now we can cut it before making the blend. Remove. Okay, so we can remove that one. That's good. So let's make that boundary surface then. So between this, it should identify only one. Yeah, it is correct. That's good. Okay, curvature and curvature. And yeah, now it's a little bit more relaxed. Right. Let's look again at the object that we have. Yeah, not too bad. So what will I want would be in here to adjust the sketch to be a little bit closer to this point. So let me again change the environment because it's so much white, it's just hurting my eyes. Okay, yeah, that's better. So I go closer to this, I'll press Ctrl B. Yeah, and now I'm all right with this. Good. So now we are okay. We can cut the object, but we have to cut it on both sides. And we have this surface in here. So we need to apply a mirror. So let's apply a mirror to it first. So let's go and knit the surfaces first. Where was the mirror? Yeah, it was here. Mirror face. Well, it should be right plane. Bodies to mirror. This ones. Okay, good. I hope I selected knit surfaces. No, I didn't. There you go. I selected now. That's good. Well, we have this. Do I want to be slightly different? Maybe something like that. Yeah. So now we can apply an offset and we can use it to cut. Just checking to see in which direction it's bent. Okay, that's good. That's correct. So let's apply an offset. Where is my offset? Here. Good. This, and that. At 0.2, I think. They should be quite tight together, so 0.2 millimeters should be just fine. And that is it. So we cut our surfaces for cutting. So I can use these surfaces and then make thickness. Yeah. But first of all, that means that I would have a different object here, isn't it? And I should be able to see the cut on the other side. So it looks like the cut would be only on one side, an asymmetric cut. Could we make something like this? Maybe. Or should we just keep? Okay, well, first of all, I just realized in here that actually we applied the offset not on all the surfaces that we need. So there, now the offset is applied correctly. Yeah, so I'm thinking not to waste any more time and just to cut it on both sides to be symmetrical. We could do that, or we could leave it without the cut so that the cut is somewhere up to this point in here, and from that point there we let the laws of physics to to not be applied anymore. We could do that too. No, I would just go and do it without. Right, so given that we actually have two objects in here that will result, then we can create one new part, and we can get our surface tool that will cut the object in here. Yes, let's save all. I actually need to, yeah. So let's get these surfaces in here. Not the offset, but the mirror. Yeah. So 0 as a copy. Great. And now if I go on to our first main cut part in here, we can get the surface trim as an offset. Yep. And now we can just cut all this before applying thickness and applying fillets. So trim standard, we use this surface, the one that we copied, the offset. It shouldn't be the offset, because we need to open this up so we don't get other surfaces around. So again, yeah, we use this, and we want to remove this part. Okay, awesome. And now we can, oopsie, not hiding that, but hiding this. And yeah, we can apply a thickness to it and make some fillets around. Let's see, where is the thick? Yeah, there you go. So we apply a thickness to this of 0.2 millimeters, or even more, 0.3. If it works, it does. That's great. So we can start making the fillets really fast. Nope, clear. So here and here, I want like 0.2, even 0.1. I want them to be very sharp and continuously in curvature. So that's great. It is just fine. I will want on this face to be 1. Just be generous, just in case I will need more. And in here, I will want a 0.2. Remember, we were saying that it's quite sharp, so let's check a little bit to see how sharp this is. I would say no. 0.1 is better as sharp. Yep. And now I should be able to just apply an overall, what should I say in here? 0.1, isn't it? Yeah, I would say 0.2 in the end. And I should be able to apply an overall fillet of 0.1 all the way across. Curvature continuous, so that's great. Awesome, so that's another part done. And I hope I did actually use the right No, I didn't use the right surface offset. So I'm going back into this and I'm going to select the other surface that I have. I'm going to select the mirror instead from the tree, and it should update automatically without having any issues. And no, it didn't. Interesting. Okay. So for some reasons it didn't. Let's open this up to see what is going on. So I make a surface trim in here, in which I should be able to use both. Interesting, but for some reason it doesn't want to make the cut. Okay, so usually when this is happening, I select again the trim tool and it works. For some reason, sometimes it just didn't make the update, despite I make the update correctly. Right, so there are some fillets in here. Ah yes, because we have some missing edges. Repair all missing edges. No, it doesn't. No. Clear all missing references. So let's select the edges back again. Okay. And now it worked correctly. So that's fine. Now we will do the same thing for the other part. So let's see, shall I create a new part for the new cut, or shall I do it in the old one first and then separate them? Now I think, yeah, I think I can be all right without separating them. So yeah, I can go into first main cut and actually select yeah, selecting the surfaces to cut the offset. Make an offset on 0 for it so that Solidworks knows that I'm copying it. And now I'm going to do exactly the same thing as before. Trim tool this one, remove the one that we did for the other part. Just hiding it. So I'm not sure if it's working to make the cement, to make the thickness and all that for this part. So I will try to make it as I was saying in the past, but if it doesn't work, then I will continue on offline and do it. You already know the principle, so I don't want to waste more of your time. But let's try initially. So I will want 0.3 millimeters. I press enter already without thinking if it is in the right direction. Let's hope. And it worked without a problem for now. So for now, all good. Just want to check that that didn't got mingled. So now it didn't. That's great. So applying the same principles as before. 0.3 we were saying before. Just checking again. Yeah, all good. Okay, and now we just want another 0.3. Interesting. I did add the thickness already onto this one. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, so how is this? That is also right. So let's see if it will work this time to apply a 0.1 millimeters along the edge and with the thickness. Alright, so Solidworks will think for a while, especially that we didn't say 0.1 initially, we said 0.3, so let's try with 0.1, and it looks like it does identify everything correctly. Fingers crossed. There is no problem. All right, no problem whatsoever. So it looks like when we break up the models into smaller chunks, SolidWorks knows a little bit better how to deal with everything. Not sure if 0.1 is correct. Yeah, it looks all right. Just checking to see if everything looks cut correctly. Yes, it does. I may need to change the gap, however, it does look quite big gap for such a small part. Okay, so I will just go in here and change it to 0.1 millimeters to be even smaller. Don't think I will go to smaller than 0.1 millimeters, but we shall see. So Control B to update the whole chain. It looks everything all right and everything is updated. Let's check again the gap. Okay, so it looks correct, because after all we will actually create a black solid right inside, so that you will never see anything like anything that is inside. Okay, now we applied already the thickness, but we didn't do the other cut. So how shall we do then? For the last cut, we did things a little bit in a hurry and I don't want to lose more of your time. So yeah, let's go to the surfaces, to the part that we use to make the cuts, the surfaces to cut. And I will still create this in here, but then yeah, I will use the whole model to make a copy. Right. So let's see, what can we do? We should use a right plane, make a sketch. Let's have a look. Now it's just straight following the surface and then is again curve. So let's make a curve in here, something like this, right? It's actually closer, something like that. Is it too high? Is it quite high? Not necessarily. Nope. But it goes just slightly higher at the back. And then it tips down in here. And then we can just create another curve for the for making something similar to this. Yeah, something like that. And we can just apply a fillet afterwards. Okay, we can extrude this. Yep. And now let's see. Let's see how it will be on the other side actually. Now we can Yes, it will be quite straight compared to the surface that is in here, which is not so straight. So maybe we can use some of the tricks that I did mentioned before, or we just want to cut it straight as it is, and that's it. Just looking to see. We don't really see much from that area, but when we will start doing the renders, we may actually want to see, isn't it? So let me do first of all an extrude on the other side too. So direction 2, 11 with 11, so I should have like that. And now let's try to use the freeform deform, which it worked. That's great. It worked directly on this, so we can free this one movable. And because we did free that one, we can just raise this higher up. Okay, so we will need one curve in the middle. So add curves, flip direction. I do want to hide all these sketches in here. And I don't care if it's not exactly in the middle, as long as it is matching more or less. The dimensions are quite small anyway. So I'm going to use this curve to just raise the surface only locally in here. Yeah, quite a lot. And then use the tangency handles in here to tip it down more. And then I will still use those tangent handles. I just want to replicate the surface more or less to what we have at the back, even if it's not completely symmetrical. I don't need to be super precise. As long as I follow the surface, I'm fine. Okay, and I'm all right. So as it is right now, it is just fine. So now I just want to check to see if I'm hiding this as a freeform. It is retaining. That's great. So it is retaining. That's super. So now if I am making another part, yeah, we still need 2 parts, isn't it? First of all, let's make the fillet in here in this area. Two millimeters should be just fine. Yeah, let's check again with this model. Yeah, more like 3 millimeters. Looks better at 3 millimeters. Yep. And yeah, making the offset should be 0.1. Yeah, the offset is done. And now if I am creating a new part into the assembly, oh, let's press Ctrl B to update everything. Yeah, and let's create a new part. I do want to edit that one, and now I will want to get the copy of the surfaces that I have in here. So I will get this fillet. I will say, please make a copy and make an offset in 0, which Solidworks will understand it as being a copy. Okay. Can I then select the whole thing? Let's see. Okay, I don't see very well there. Now I see better. Aha, so it will require a face. So we cannot copy solids. Okay, not a problem. I go out of it and I will just delete the fillets and the thickness to it. So just hiding those in there to cut. So delete those three until I make all the cuts correctly. Okay, so it looks like we deleted something that we shouldn't. Let's press a Control Z to see what is going on. For some reasons, yeah, for some reasons, it's saying, because I did it in the first main cut, that's why. Yes, so I shouldn't do it in here because now it doesn't recognize the last surface, isn't it? Yes, and the trim as well. I shouldn't do it in here. That is correct. Yeah, so let's go and cut as well the trim. Just creates, what is this surface offset? I see. Okay. Yeah, so all of them shouldn't be part of this. Okay, not a problem. Okay. Yes to all. So that is not going to, Solidworks is not going to comment for the other part that we just created. And we are going to make them separately. Okay, so let's see. So we have this part in here. Okay. So now we should be able to create in this part the things that we were having before by just going and get the copy of this. There. And now from the surface to cut, we can get as well a copy of this. If it will let me select, I can see which one it is. I think it was the offset, isn't it? So it was this offset in here. Yes, not the mirror. Great. So let's get the offset. Let's make a copy. And now we can do exactly the same thing as before. So remove, I want to remove this. That's it. Now let's make a thickness for this, just like before, of 0.3. not 10.3, and it is in the right direction. That's good. Actually, I don't want to make the thickness yet. Not just yet, isn't it? I will want to first cut it with the other part. Yes, so let's do exactly that. Let's go again into the surface to cut, select this original surface in here, not its offset, the fillet. Yes, let's make an offset in 0 to copy it, and now I can use both to cut, yeah. Just hiding this one for now. So I want this trim tool and I want to remove this part. Okay, great. So now that is done, now we can apply a thickness to it of 0.3. That is correct. Just checking the timing well. Yeah, almost there. Okay. Let's apply a fillet in these areas of 0.2. So these areas, and do we need anywhere else? Yes, we do. So we need in here and we need in here. So 0.2 millimeters. And now just a fillet of 0.1 all the way around. So as long as I have the, some thickness and as long as I have a bit of edge underneath in there, it's just fine, because then I can create an offset from the whole original surface and just make it completely black for the render. So 0.1 as a fillet. Okay. So now it's cut correctly. That's great. So that's one that we had. Did it apply correctly? Ah, yes, it is. It is applied as it should. That is good. Okay. And now the last part to do this before we make the black body part. Let's call it like that. The black dummy body part. So again, I want a copy from the original in here, right? I need to edit the original part. So in first main cut, this copy in 0, okay. And then from the surfaces to cut, from our folder with surfaces for cutting, I should get the offset. That should be at the end. Yes. Okay. Again in 0. So that should be just fine. And yeah, and now I can just apply this as a surface to cut and select the surface that I want to be cut. Yeah, I want to hide this. Again, apply some thickness. I will try 0.3 millimeters again. Yeah, it looks quite interesting on this side, really. But yeah, anyway, so let's apply the thickness, 0.3. Okay, that's cool. Maybe I want more than 0.3. Yeah, if we can, why not? So let's say 0.5. I just try to cover as much as possible from the when the light will try to get in. You know, if this is bigger, even better. So 0.5 and just a fillet of 0.1 millimeters all around. And it should be just fine. Okay. Oh, and we did forget about one part that we should take care of, which is this one in here. We should be separated because when we will start to render this, it will be very difficult to assign materials or anything like that. So new part again, I'm not even taking care to rename them at the end of the day. It doesn't really matter much. Right, so let me edit the part. Oopsie, let's clear the section and let's go into the first main cut. And yes, it should be surface revolve. If it would just let me select it, okay, maybe from then surface bodies. Okay, so it will, I should take this. Okay, that's great. So I can take it from there. All right. And that would be it. So I can hide first main cut from here so that we remain with the rest of the parts. And yeah, that's kind of it. These are our lovely earphones with all the cuts that we can think of. I don't see why to adjust anything to it really. So I think apart from covering some holes in here, we should be just fine. And actually, talking about that, so we should be able to make offsets of the surfaces that we have in here. Yeah, I'm not going to spend the time now to make those offsets. There is no point. I'm sure you have all the knowledge to make those offsets so that we can hide the holes that we have in here. But in principle, yeah, it will be offsets from the original surfaces, big offsets, so that you can just hide the holes and make those offsets to be black really. But apart from that, that would be it for today. So next time I will start showing how to render this. I'm thinking to render it using either Twinmotion or Corona render engine. But if you have a preference, please do let me know in your comments. And if most of you would like to see, for example, Twinmotion, then no problem. I will do it using Twinmotion first. I believe it's quite interesting to see it, but you let me know. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed my video and my videos in general. And please subscribe and like if you believe it's something useful. It will help me a lot. Until next time, I wish you a very nice evening or a very good day ahead. Bye bye.